Okay, so now that we've done manipulatives, we've done pictures, and we've talked about what the symbols really mean and how we would draw a number line with them, we're actually going to solve some and then draw number lines. So I am on page 499. I'm going to do got it A, B, C, and D with you, so please follow along. So inequalities, we said, have a lot of similar properties. We actually solve inequalities the same way we would solve equations. Their number lines just look different. So on got it A, we have A minus 3 is less than 8. Since we always work on the side that has the variable, so we have a minus 3, so to get rid of that, we're going to add 3. What you do to one side, you always do the other. This makes a 0 pair. I get A is less than 11, and that would be my answer. On the next one, I again work on the side that has the variable. I have a positive 4/10, so to get rid of that, I'm going to make a negative 4/10 or subtract 4/10. What you do to one side, you always do to the other. That makes a 0 pair. Y, my symbol is greater than or equal to, and 7 minus 4/10 is going to be 6 and 6/10. So that would be my answer. Make sure you pay attention to the symbols. If you write equal, I will take off because we are not doing equations, we are doing inequalities. All right, got it, C and D. This time we're going to solve and then we're going to use a number line to represent our answer. So on C, I draw my line, I work on the side that has the variable. I have a plus 4, so to get rid of that, I'm going to minus 4. Which you do to one side, you always do the other. H is greater than 4 minus 4 is 0. So that's my answer. But to draw it on my number line, you always have to have the number that you found in your solution, which was 0. And then you always have to have one bigger than that number and one less than that number. So 1 bigger than 0 is 1. 1 smaller than 0 is negative 1. So since it's greater than, it doesn't equal 0, so it's an open circle, but then the numbers have to be greater than 0 or bigger than 0, and those numbers are to the right. So that is how I would graph it. On D, x minus 6 is less than or equal to 4. I have a minus 6, so I'm going to add 6. What you do to one side, you always do the other. I made a 0 pair. X is less than or equal to 10. So I got my solution, but then I have to graph it. So my number was 10. I have to have one bigger, and I have to have one less. Since x is less than or equal to, it could equal 10, so I'm going to have a closed circle because that could equal that number, but then the numbers have to be less than 10. So my number is less than 10, go towards the left. So that would be my graphed solution. All right, I'm going to do a story problem with you on page 500. I'm going to look at number 3. All right, so on number 3, an elevator can hold 2,800 pounds or less. We need to write and solve an inequality that describes how much more weight the elevator can hold if it is currently holding 2,375 pounds. Then we have to interpret the solution. So first of all, our inequality, we got to pick out the important information. It can hold 2,800 pounds or less, and we have that many already, and we need to figure out how much more weight can it hold. So our maximum amount is 2,800, and that's the biggest that it can be, so our alligator is going to eat the biggest number, but it could equal that, so we have a less than or equal to sign. Then we already have 2,375 pounds on the elevator, but we have an additional amount that we could put on there. We just don't know what that is, so we're going to call it x. So there's our inequality. To solve, I always work on the side that has the variable. I have a positive 2,375, so I'm going to subtract 2,375. I made a zero pair. X is less than or equal to. When I subtract, I get 425. So if I was drawing that on a number line, 425, I have to have one bigger, and I have to have one smaller. It could equal 425, so I'm going to have a closed circle. But then the numbers have to be fewer than that, otherwise the elevator won't hold the weight. So it has to be smaller than that. So that's what my number line would look like. If I'm interpreting the solution, I would say that you can have no more than 425 more pounds. The book says it can hold 425 pounds more. The elevator can hold 425 more pounds or less than that. So that is how you would interpret that solution. All right, so your assignment is actually to do 1 through 4 on page 500. I already gave you the answers to 3, so you really only have 3 problems left. On number 4, it's asking you to explain how do you know to add and how do you know to subtract to find the answer. And we've talked about that a lot, so hopefully everyone should get that problem.